Do artists really have to starve to be true to their craft? Must the business side of creativity drain all inspiration? No, it does not. 5 minutes on creative entrepreneurship can help you master the business side of creativity, reap greater rewards from your talent, and enjoy your work to the fullest.
I'm so glad trouble don't last always.
Few creatives launch their practices planning to cash out with a big exit down the road. This is one significant difference between creative entrepreneurs and other startup founders. We get into our trade out of love for our craft, not so much for the financial reward. But the very fact that we start our businesses with little to no thought of selling can become a major contributor to systemically low profits. If you were planning to sell like a typical entrepreneur, you would pay much more attention to your bottom line. And so managing your practice as if you were going to sell it could help you improve your profits and would lead to other positive outcomes. I'm Eric Holter, and I've been a serial creative entrepreneur for over 3 decades. After graduating from Rhode Island School of Design in 1991, I could cut and print beautiful wood engravings. But I had no idea how to run a business. They just don't teach enough about business in art school. Creative entrepreneurs don't dream of taking their companies public or getting acquired for millions. We want to get paid well for our work, but a massive payday is not why we practice our craft. And so we go about our business doing the best we can to manage ups and downs to our cash flow as we try to make ends meet. Occasionally, though, usually as a creative starts to see retirement on the horizon, we start giving some thought to a possible ownership transition. It can come as quite a shock for someone who has invested so much of their heart and soul into their creative business for decades to find out that on paper, their business is hardly worth anything to prospective buyers. This, sadly, is often the case because many creatives unknowingly run their practices at a close to break-even basis for years at a time. Break-even businesses never build up equity, and when it comes to the concrete value of a company, it's your equity that matters most. How much better would it be for creatives if we gave attention to our profitability and our equity from day one? And so running your creative practice as if you were going to sell it is a healthy way to ensure that you're operating profitably. If you were going to sell, you would regularly be evaluating your company's balance sheet. You would be making sure that the total equity line item in that report is steadily increasing. And if it wasn't, you would investigate why, which would lead you to giving attention to your profit and loss reports, which help identify where your expenses may be too high or your revenue and pricing too low. Rarely do creatives give attention to these fundamental financial reports because building equity is not as important to us as simply meeting our monthly expenses. But if you're going to sell, meeting expenses is not enough to build serious value. Even if you have no intention of selling, operating as if you were would have another benefit. It would incentivize you to pay yourself a premium salary as an owner. You see, if you were to do a valuation of your company for a sale, one important part of that evaluation would be to look at what the owner-operator has been paid. If someone bought your company, they would either enter your role themselves or they'd have to hire someone else to fill it. But if what your company has budgeted for your role is under the market's compensation level, that would be considered a liability, and you would need to discount your sale price accordingly. On the other hand, if you were paying yourself well above market, that would open up revenue after a sale, which would therefore increase your sale price. Another benefit of running your practice like you are going to sell it is in how you would need to structure your role. To the extent that you are absolutely central and critical to daily operations, any sale of your company would need to include a significant transition timetable, which has real hard costs associated and would therefore decrease your sale price. But if you manage your firm so that projects can be completed and most daily operations can run without your involvement, then transition costs would be low. And if that's the case, even if you never sell, such flexibility would offer you lots of freedom as a business owner. Most creatives never do sell their practices. maybe because they end up realizing that it's not worth it. But if we ran our businesses as if we were going to sell someday, maybe more of us would, or at least we would enjoy greater benefits from owning them in the first place. Until next week, don't let the business of creativity overwhelm your creative business.
5 Minutes on Creative Entrepreneurship is a podcast by Eric Holter, mentor to creative entrepreneurs. You can find more content and resources at erichholter.com. His book, Blazing the Freelance Trail, is available on Amazon in print, Kindle, and audio. If this podcast is helpful to you, be sure to share it with your colleagues, and ratings and reviews are always appreciated.
I'm so glad trouble don't last.